I think that's what's at case here with Rich Paul. It's the illusion of sophistication. Right? It's the attempt to play chess, not checkers, when really you can play chess and just be a bad chess player. All right, stick with me now because there's a couple of different stories that come into one. All right, remember, yesterday we shared with you these quotes of Rich Paul saying, like, Bronny and LeBron not tied at the hip at all. LeBron's not going to sign for the minimum. No one ever said LeBron would sign for the minimum. It's beyond stupid to ever try and dumb down any sort of package deal and think LeBron James would sign for anything less than the max. But when you say that, you're like, well, he's not signing for the minimum. No one said that. But it was this, hey, listen, Toronto could take him. Dallas, Nico Harrison, who used to run Nike, used to be LeBron's right-hand man with Nike. He's like an uncle to Bronny. Why would Dallas want Bronny James? Like, when I say Bronny James can't play, I don't mean he actually can't play basketball. I just mean he can't play in the NBA this year. Couldn't play in college this year. And when I say can't play in college, it means you couldn't play him extended minutes and hope to actually win basketball games. And that's not a complete knock on him. Most freshmen, you couldn't play. Right? He doesn't have a position. He's a good player. He's a good human. He has a chance to maybe eventually be an NBA end-of-the-bench player, but right now, no. And if you're the Dallas Mavericks and you just reached the NBA Finals, you're not drafting a guy who may be somewhere down the road, oh my gosh, could be an NBA player. Unless you're going to get LeBron James with him. We're playing chess, not checkers. But let me combine the two stories. Okay, here's a story from Vince Goodwill. James Borrego could be a name to watch, league sources told Yahoo Sports, as well as ESPN analyst JJ Redick. And we're talking about the Detroit Pistons. Redick is currently the prime candidate for the Lakers job, so it isn't known how much traction Detroit could actually gain. Redick and Langdon have a Duke connection. They were in New Orleans when Redick signed there as a free agent before the pandemic-shortened 2019-2020 season. Ooh, we got a connection. But why would JJ Redick? That was the story, okay? I believe that story is bunk. Okay? Here's what I think is at play. What I believe is at play is that the story of yesterday and this story is one and the same. It's that you got to create some sort of idea that JJ Redick needs to be had by the Lakers, otherwise you're going to lose LeBron. Just like if you don't draft Bronny, you're going to lose LeBron. Oh, wait, we got breaking news? Here's Monty Bolaños. Monty?
Breaking news from Fox Sports.
Hey, Doug, you couldn't have been more on top of the topic, but according to ESPN, Adrian Wojnarowski has just tweeted, JJ Redick has agreed on a 4-year contract to become the next head coach of the Lakers. Rob Pelinka offered the job this morning. Redick has already started working on a staff to surround himself with experience.
There you go.
There you go.
Easy. Chess, not checkers. All they're trying to do is get this deal finished. How do you get the deal finished? By getting a little leverage. Hey, it could be up for the Piston job. What could happen is JJ, Duke ties. He could work with Trajan Langdon. Duke family. Why would they hire him? Why would he take the Pistons job? No, that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit JJ Redick. You can't go from wanting to coach LeBron James and taking a ready-made team to a complete rebuild with the Detroit Pistons when you're a sitting analyst calling the NBA Finals. JJ's not an idiot. Not an idiot. So you look at that story, and it signified to me that they wanted to push to get the deal done with JJ. Hey, you could lose JJ here if you don't get this thing done. Detroit could be interested in him because of Duke ties. By the way, JJ Redick will tell you he has said publicly he was miserable in New Orleans. Miserable. So that snapshot of JJ being some connector with Trajan Langdon, I don't buy that one either. Just like I don't buy the Bronny on his own merits could be like, no, he's not. I mean, you're not a Picasso in terms of being a BS artist. You're more of a paint by numbers. LeBron doesn't want to leave L.A., isn't going to leave the Lakers, but wants to control who's his head coach and that Bronny ends up being there. I don't believe for 1 second that LeBron is off of the idea of playing with Bronny. That's dumb. That's not believable. It's not believable. If Bronny James is drafted somehow by another franchise, there is less than 5% chance he gets a call-up in year one. Why would LeBron James, when he can have him with the Lakers and have him with the South Bay Lakers and get him a call-up, why would he do that? Like, he's not staying around the NBA for his health. He wants to compete for a championship, but he also wants to play with his son. He stated that as his goal. This is do not fall for really, really, really bad leverage plays. You know, I got a guy on the other line that wants to buy this car, but if you want to pay over sticker, it's yours right now. Like, why would I pay over sticker? Well, there's a limited number of these cars. Okay, my guess is you can go find another one. And if you can't, that's going to be tough. I think this is a guy who plays checkers, and he's trying to play chess, and just because you play chess does not mean you're sophisticated. Just because you say the word sofa and bottle of beer does not mean I have to fall for the idea that you know what you're doing here. I've seen it with bad leverage plays for LeBron in the past, right? When he was getting ready to go to the Lakers, they leaked out, hey, he could go to the Spurs. We do know that the San Antonio Spurs, okay, their mantra is get over yourself. LeBron James is a lot of things, okay? Good human being, great basketball player, good solid teammate, one of the greats of all times. Over himself is not one of those things. I don't believe for 1 second that LeBron is going to go to Dallas, is going to go to New Orleans, and neither does anybody else. I also don't believe those teams have any true interest in drafting him unless they could get LeBron James. Why would they? Why would they?
So what do you think about this?
What do I think about JJ Redick?
Yeah, JJ Redick. Going from the broadcast booth to from podcast to head coach. And there was that little thing in between about Danny Hurley being considered more than JJ Redick. No hurt feelings there, no awkwardness. Was this going to be JJ Redick the entire time? And was the Dan Hurley thing a huge ruse? All these questions need answers.
I believe that JJ was the prime candidate. I believe they struggled to fill out a staff, and that the Danny Hurley thing was somebody coming in going like, who else is out there? Like, Danny Hurley hasn't signed his contract. Really? Let's bring him in. And they want to move heaven and earth. I think a big question is how many years and how much money they gave to JJ. But yeah, this was probably their plan sort of all along, and the Danny Hurley thing was more of a, did you know that he was available? And I can tell you that happens like in my job and what I do in terms of signing players is that you have guys and then somebody calls you or sends you a video and says, what do you think? And you end up going like, hey, I don't know, what do I think here? Huh. And then you kick it around and then you circle back to the guys that you were honed in on to begin with. So that's my genuine belief. Will it work? I got no idea. Let's see what they do with the roster. But I don't think there's any way in which JJ Redick is the head coach unless LeBron James okayed it. LeBron James isn't going anywhere. You don't hire JJ Redick, who does podcasts with LeBron James, unless you've gotten a guarantee that LeBron James wants JJ Redick to be his head coach. And they're going to pitch it to you and so would I, as Steve Kerr came right out of the broadcast booth, had never coached a day in his life. And Pat Riley had sort of been an assistant, but Pat Riley basically came from the broadcast booth and became arguably the greatest coach in Lakers history, he and Phil Jackson. So I don't think he was ever in play in Detroit. I just think that was some sort of bluff probably coming from LeBron's camp in order to make sure the deal got made. Just like Rich Paul with the sort of bluff, hey, listen, Nico Harrison loves Bronny James. Great. Doesn't mean he wants him on his roster.